here, Artificial Conference underway, and I am super excited to have Stephen with us. Stephen, welcome. How's it going?
Good. Yeah, I'm doing well. Thanks for asking.
Awesome. The conference we're getting ready for, and I have to say, there's a lot of people who are excited and also very excited about the world of education and how AI can transform the world of education. So one of the things is there's going to be a big panel. We have a lot of people who are outside of the education system, independent educators, and then we do have some people who are part of the education, the university system, and you are one of them. So why should people tune in and listen to you on this subject when it comes to education and AI?
Yeah, so a bunch of reasons, right? So one, I used to be a classroom educator, so I taught middle school for a number of years in the San Francisco Bay Area. So I've been in the classroom. I know what it's like to be a teacher. I know what those 12-hour days are like, and sometimes doing class on top of that. So I've been in it. Since then, though, I've worked for ed tech startups, and now as a faculty at USC, I am interested in how educational technologies can transform the way we teach and learn. Some of my roles there are I'm obviously focused on learning analytics and how AI has shaped the way that universities think about student success. But I'm also a part of a new center, right? The USC Center for Generative AI in Society. As the associate director, we're looking at a bunch of different ways that generative AI specifically can accelerate workflows, can help teachers do their job better. So yeah, a bunch of reasons why folks should listen, but those are some.
That's awesome. So like the whole new division that's starting up, I'm sure you're seeing a lot, especially having to review and that being part of your profession. What are you most excited about in the world of AI?
I'm most excited about what it's going to look like when we become true partners with different AI tools, right? So there's lots of different things that we can do now, right? We can accelerate how quickly we do certain work, but there's more interesting stuff, right? So what is it like to use an AI tool as a thought partner, right? To have a really fast sounding board that gets to access a lot of human knowledge and help shape. That's I think probably the thing I'm most excited about.
Oh, very cool. So who would you say should attend at least this panel? What are some of the things that you would share, and who would you think would get a lot out of these discussions?
Yeah, so I think that first everyone should attend, right? AI is going to affect everyone no matter who you are. But if I'm thinking about specific professionals and those interested in education, administrators, teachers, the folks who have, I think, or in the middle spaces where they help teachers in their job, like the tech specialists at school districts, really anyone who's interested in understanding how AI technologies are going to help or shape the way that we learn. So if you're curious, you should go.
Yeah, definitely. So what would you say are some of the things that you would want to share and hope people would get out from the conversation around education?
Yeah, so I think that my biggest contribution is helping folks understand how to even think about AI, right? There's this tendency that when there's a new technology trigger that folks get super excited about it, either positively or they get super low about it, or they think it's like everything's going to change for the worse. And technology just doesn't work that way. So I'm sure folks have been seeing either memes or talks going around like Socrates thought writing was going to fundamentally make people dumber or shape how we remember things. There's a scholar, Gessner, thought that there were too many books in the 1500s and we needed to separate the good books from the bad books. And he created a bibliography of 3,000 books, right? So not that much relative to today. So I think that it's important for folks to understand AI as something that's, yes, it's new, yes, it's exciting, yes, it's different, but there's ways to use it and to integrate it into your own life and into your own professional workflows where it's not going to be scary. It's just going to be the next thing to help you do better work.
No, that's really useful. I know so many people who are like terrified of this. So having a voice to be able to show them how they can integrate it into their life versus it take over their life, I think is going to be something that people do need to hear. I think that's a voice that's really necessary. So what would you say to someone who's on the fence about attending or really diving into this world of AI and being involved in the back? They're on the fence. They're thinking about, yeah, I should go, I should attend, I should really be involved. What would you say to someone on the fence, why this is something that they should invest in?
Yeah, so this is happening with or without people who attend, right? So I think that the folks who get ahead of the curve and get a better sense of how they can enter into this new space will benefit the most. right? So if you're on the fence, just hop over. It's going to make sense for you to understand what's happening in AI and really bring out your own experience and how you can integrate it into your own work. Because whether or not you attend, these things are happening. And I like to say that when some of the folks that are going to be most affected are folks who are high skilled but low influence, right? Folks who know how to do a lot of really cool things, but may not shape policy. They might not be the ones who actually make the decisions, but they have a lot of skill. So I think those group of folks are stand to benefit most from understanding how to use AI in their own work.
Oh, that's awesome. So there's been so many transformations already. I like to say we're at year zero, right? So we're at year zero for this. It hasn't even been a full year yet. And AI has transformed so many different things. So in what ways have you seen like things in your field of expertise transform, and what's exciting to you about the developments that you see in this area?
Yeah, so I think that writing is one of these new areas where how what it means to be an author is going to shift. What it means to be a creative more broadly, but what it means to be an author, because you can, I think, justifiably integrate generative AI tools like ChatGPT, but not just ChatGPT, right, into your own creative process or into your own sort of workflow. But what does that mean for authorship, right? What does it mean to be someone who is an AI supported author or something like that? So I think that's super exciting. And I think that we're still figuring that out. And in my area, I see this most in how students are using generative AI tools. There's fears that they're using it for plagiarism, but that's not always what students are doing, right? First of all, plagiarism is going to happen no matter what. Yes, we should have guardrails, but also we should find ways to not try to ban generative AI in classrooms or at universities. Instead, how do we get students to use them as tools for critical thinking, right? So how might students use like an AI antagonist and have a debate with that person, or what, not that person, right? But with that tool to understand what it means to think critically. Maybe they generate an essay that they then edit, right? So over at USC, these are the questions that we're exploring. How do we integrate our own ways of teaching and learning? And how is that going to shift how we think of ourselves as authors, how we think of ourselves as students, how we're motivated to do this work?
Oh, yeah, that's awesome. Hearing it from you, somebody from the inside, like saying, no, don't ban it, but look at the different ways that students can use it is really inspiring and hopeful, because I've heard so many people say, yeah, just the plagiarism, it's just doing all the work. Where, we really look at AI, the way I see it is like the internet. This is a tool. Like they're going to need to learn how to use the tool, because guess what? They're going to school not just for the knowledge, but they're looking to become professionals and earn income. And jobs want people who are skilled, that know what's going on in society and know how to use the tools of it. So it's really nice coming from an educator, knowing that there are ways to work with these things. And it's not just something that is absolutely terrible if they use it, but using it in the right ways. So that's super exciting. And I'm sure people would want to know more about that. One of the things is your expertise in AI, and coming from the place that you are in the world of education. We have a lot of other speakers. So we have different artists, we have different professionals, we have people in business automation and marketing and copyright. So is there any speaker in particular that you're excited to connect with, or any topic that you're interested to be able to talk to other professionals on and dive deep into?
Yeah, so I think that opportunities like this will enable me to really get to know and to understand how different thinkers are really understanding generative AI in their own environment. So I'm interested in how artists are thinking about the nature of art, right? What does it mean to have sort of an AI collaborator? And I've had conversations, at least on the academic side, with artists who are thinking about the nature of the photograph is changing fundamentally, right? It used to be that we use a tool to take a picture, but now we can generate that picture. And what does that mean for our understanding of objectivity? What does it mean to be the person behind the camera? And that's a word, but there's no camera. So what does it mean to be that person now? But I'm also interested in sort of legal scholars and what does it mean? What does intellectual property look like now? Because are there going to be any fundamental changes in how IP is defined? Who gets to claim ownership over some sort of artifact? All that stuff these conversations are happening now. So it makes sense to be in the room as folks are having them.
Yeah, no, that's one of the big things. And that's why I was so happy to have Heather Whitney join us, who specializes in copyright law and being able to communicate on this topic in depth and have an entire presentation and be able to network with people who have these really important questions. And speaking of networking, like it's an integral part of the conference experience is networking, connecting. What advice would you give to anybody attending, even online in the chat? Because we're going to have full virtual online where people will be able to connect with other users, be able to chat, ask questions, be engaged with each other. But in person, what would you say is some advice that you would give about interaction and forming meaningful connections and networking?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so come say hi. None of us bite. So I think it's important for folks to feel empowered to have conversations with folks, no matter who they are in terms of their own professional lives. We're all folks wanting to be in this space together. So I think acknowledging that community and trying to form it is important. But I think the most important part of networking is following up, right? Once you make a connection, keep talking to that person, ping them every once in a while, just to see what's fruitful. Is there a project that you're going to work on together? Maybe that's the thing that you talk about later down the road, or are there sort of other collaboratives or other sort of small local gatherings that you can help organize or help foster in your own community? So yeah, I think that when it comes to networking, it's just always about being open to talk to whoever and not focusing so much on title, but focusing on connection and focusing on interest. And then that's how you generate
That's awesome.
meaningful, long-lasting things.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Stevens, thank you so much for sharing today. We're excited to have you at the conference. And yeah, we're just a little bit away and we're going to have a great time. So hope to see everybody there.